Today we start the 6th chapter of the 4th act of the journey home. As always, may this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. I'm really gonna like this chapter, I think. I hope you do too. Let's dive right into it. You're gonna like this, Nanda, especially. To live in the lush forests of Vrindavan, the river Yamuna beckoned me to her banks, where once again I could live the life of a homeless wanderer, sleeping under a different tree every night. I had only the clothes on my back, 2 pieces of unstitched cloth, one that I wrapped around my waist to cover the lower part of my body, and one that covered the upper part. Solitude was again my welcome companion. Often I slept at Chiraghat, near an ancient Kadamba tree. Aspirants to pure love of God had come since time immemorial to this holy site to hang tokens of garments as a prayer-filled symbol for Krishna to steal away the cloak of their ignorance. The Kadamba tree is considered especially sacred in Vrindavan, and its blossoming flowers bring everyone joy. The Kadamba flower, a bright golden ball about the size of a strawberry and covered with hundreds of tiny golden trumpet-shaped petals, has an intoxicatingly sweet fragrance. Because these flowers resemble Sri Radha's golden complexion, Kadamba trees are very dear to Lord Krishna. Each night I would kneel under the tree at Chiraghat and pray for humility and devotion. Then I would stretch my body on the riverbank, feeling the cold soil beneath my flesh as I drifted into sleep. My bedding was the sacred earth, my blanket the starry sky, and my waking call the distant ringing of temple bells. Every morning at 4 o'clock I would awaken in the darkness, bow down on the riverbank in gratitude, and wade into the sacred waters for my bath. November was approaching, and the Yamuna had turned frigid. Often I stood shivering, submerged up to my neck. I recalled lyrics from a song that I had loved in my childhood. The river Jordan is chilly and cold. It chills the body but warms the soul. Yes, I reflected, enduring difficulty for a meaningful purpose is a sublime pleasure. Dunking my entire body under the water, again and again, I meditated on purifying my body, mind, and soul. Then I stood quietly, under the still starlit sky, praying for a pure heart. This was my first meditation each day. I felt so close to the Lord. Afterwards, I would climb back onto the riverbank, disrobe to my loincloth, wring the water from my dripping garments, and put them back on. Sitting down on the riverbank, I would again meditate on the Hare Krishna mantra while fingering prayer beads made of the wood of tulasi. Each day began this way, an experience I prayed never to forget. One evening, as twilight dimmed into night, I sat under the sacred Kadamba tree and composed a letter to my father. It had been 2 weeks since I had made the riverbank my residence. My dear father, my long search has led me to Vrindavan. I have at last found something that attracts my heart as pure truth. It has taken until now to find the conditions I have been seeking. In the past couple weeks, I have realized the great jewel that is to be learned in Vrindavan. Believe me when I tell you that I am not here for any pleasure or leisure. I am here with all earnestness and sincerity to carry out a mission that I cannot neglect. You know that in all my life I have never willfully hurt you. Please believe the importance of this journey to my life. Love, Richard, Vrindavan, October 1971. One quiet afternoon, as I walked along the bank of the river Yamuna, little barefoot boys wearing shorts and little barefoot girls in cotton blouses and skirts frolicked, laughing with wild abandon while playing cricket with sticks and balls. Other children herded cows, buffalo, goats, or sheep with slender sticks. Women passed with baskets of grains balanced on their heads, covering their faces with their saris out of shyness as I passed. To my right, under a tree, Krishnadas Babaji was sitting, softly singing the Lord's names. Taking note of me, he patted the ground, inviting me to sit. There we watched as a boatman ferried people across the river. Then Babaji whispered, "Under this tamarind tree is a favorite meeting place for Radha and Krishna." Intrigued, I inquired, "Babaji, everyone around here loves Radha so much. Please tell me about her." His eyes filled with tears at the mere sound of Radha's name. Closing his eyes, he leaned forward. The scriptures and saints teach us that God is one. Yet, the Lord has both a male and female nature. Krishna is the male principle, and Radha is the feminine potency. In the spiritual world, the one Lord presides in these two forms. The love between Krishna, who is the beloved, and Radha, the lover, is the divine origin of all love. Babaji, I asked, how does this love between God's masculine and feminine nature relate to the love people share in this world? Krishnadas Babaji answered, under the veil of illusion, or Maya, we forget the ecstatic love for God, which is intrinsic to our souls. Love in this world is only a reflection of it. We are searching for real love in so many ways, forgetting that it is within our hearts. Babaji looked so meek. Raising his white eyebrows, his voice faltered. Krishna longs to be conquered by that love of his devotee, and by the supreme grace of Radha, we can realize that love. She is the compassionate nature of the Absolute and the fountainhead of all spiritual love. The mystery of Radha, the female energy of God, had both fascinated and eluded me. After all I had experienced, after all I had read, after all the sadhus I had met, nothing had prepared me for the hidden truth of yoga's greatest mystery, the mystery of Bhakti, or loving devotion. And now I was learning that the keeper of this mystery was Radha. For the first time it began to dawn on me that these saints of Vrindavan had penetrated into the deepest, most confidential aspect of the spiritual journey. The secret? That beyond worldly pleasures and beyond the liberation of oneness with God is an eternal dance, an endless night of love, and the intoxication of one's very soul. And the one capable of giving entry to this unbearably sweet realm was Radha. It was their yearning to connect with Radha that allowed these yogis of Vrindavan to demonstrate such intense and genuine humility. By casting aside all interest in yogic powers, they seemed to be drowning in an ocean of divine love. My mind and heart were charmed by this rich theology known as Bhakti, the yoga of unconditional love. It seemed to put so many of my mind's questions, both asked and yet to be asked, in a comprehensive perspective. Although still apprehensive about committing myself to one particular path, I felt a yearning brewing in my heart to follow the path of Bhakti. After Krishna Das Babaji blessed me, stood up and walked away along the riverbank, I sat there staring into the river and contemplated on this secret of the feminine divinity. In the Christian church, the adoration of Mary, the mother of Jesus, inspired both divine love and embittered factions. And the mystery of Mary Magdalene gave rise to secret orders, veiled symbolism, and intrigue. Many Hebrews saw Shekinah. That's the first time I've heard that word, so please forgive me if I could do better pronouncing the Hebrew. Shekinah as the female aspect of God, or the bride of the Sabbath, as did certain students of the Kabbalah. And within Islam, there were followers of the Sufi sect who honor the divine feminine in their reference to Fatima. Now I was finding how from the Vedic, ancient spiritual perspective, feminine divinity had always been accepted as truth. As I looked out onto Mother Yamuna, I pondered on how the nourishing, compassionate side of spirituality is often overruled by the elements of power and control. It impressed me how important it was to pay attention to the feminine aspect of the divine. Thank you for listening. We're not quite done the 6th chapter of the 4th act of the journey home, but we'll pause there for now, and I very much look forward to continuing where we left off next time. If that sparked any insights or celebrations or ideas, please feel free to share them.